Well, for many years I've done a lecture in front of patients where I describe a truck and all the stuff that's in the back of the truck. And what you're looking at here is an old tennis court and a bunch of stuff stored on the tennis court. Now, with that truck lecture, what I'm doing is looking at what are the cultural gifts of our history, what are the traumatic events, what are some of our experiences that add to the weight of that truck. And then we're driving around a truck overloaded with a bunch of junky stuff. And what you're looking at here is a tennis court that became a storage field or lay down yard for a bunch of family stuff. And now I can't use the tennis court for parties or pickleball or tennis. Not much of a tennis player. So what it's time to do is for me, to do a little work in this field here, this yard, and pick it up because it looks awfully junky. But what's the truth here is the stuff that was stored up here had some value. Now, there's a pile of wood there that used to be a deck, and a lot of it is trash, and that will go to the dump. But I'm also reclaiming a lot of the good wood that's on there to build things in the yard. Could be beautiful things or garden pieces, but this stuff has value. So that can be hard to pay attention to, that all that stuff that's laying around kind of junky has some value to it. Those refrigerators over there, they look awfully junky, but they will go to recycling. And then that pile of stuff there, that's scrap metal, not iron, but various types of scrap metal. So with a little bit of work, not a little bit, a whole lot of work, this is gonna turn into something useful. A lot of fun stuff up here, and I don't mind the work. So my work here with all of this wood is actually some really good wood here, and I want to hold on to it, but it's got nails in it. Can you see those nails there? And so I'm doing the work with my, if I can do this, just have to do the work to pull those nails out. And then we have a clean piece of wood. Although it looks really old, it'll look really good as garden walls for a raised bed. So in the world, everything's a project, and you gotta stay ahead of things or it gets worse. Entropy. We were working on cleaning up the tennis court, and today I'm working on cleaning up this big syrup pot. I'll talk some more about the syrup pot in a minute, but I haven't done anything since last fall. So it's full of dirty water and old leaves, and it's just not clean at all. So I gotta scoop it out. So I got this big pan that lives outside for scooping the goo out. And it's goo. got to tell you about this syrup pot. We're going to make a fountain out of it, or return it to its former glory as a fountain with this pump and this little bit of hose. But in my childhood, this pot was a slop jar bowl. Slop jar, you country folks, not that. But it was out by the pig lot, and my granddaddy used it to cook slop that he would gather from restaurants in town. And he would bring leftover food home, heated up in this slop syrup cooker. So I've always called it just a slop cooker. I won't go back to that other term. But then that would, you know, get any impurities out of the food, and could feed it to the hogs. And then we could eat the hogs. We used to get in trouble playing chase with the hogs when I was a little boy, me and my little brother John. But then my Uncle Robert Lee died, and his son Bobby got it. And then I was visiting Bobby some, and he bequeathed it to me, I guess. Mama always said it was hers because it literally was sitting on her piece of land in the family compound of the land that was all Chapman land. Anyway, it's a beautiful pot, and you're going to see it turned into a nice water fountain. But you got to clean out the dirty water first before you can get something beautiful. So in the world of psychology, it's pretty straightforward. You got to do the work to get rid of some of the old dirty stuff, freshen it up. We'll put the pump back in, and we'll level it up some, and then we'll have a beautiful tool, a beautiful thing to look at. That's what I mean. Like you, a beautiful thing to look at. So, wow, turned out pretty good. I'm sitting here in this little corner Zen garden. Knocked off this little flower here. When the wind blows, those chimes are lovely. Got some Easter lilies in here. Maybe some poison ivy. That may be poison ivy. But it's so pleasant. So, I believe the soul is immutable. I just have this idea. It's not new to me, but you know that a created self, like a piece of energy, is it can't go away. So, though you may have been through some trouble, the fountain may not have been very pretty for a long time. There's sludge and old leaves that were left in there because it was unattended. That's the doors. The wind's blowing the door. But with some work, the project on the on the tennis court that became what I think of as a laydown yard, a storage place for lots of things, and now I'm cleaning it off. That's a whole lot of history there, like family history, maybe before your lifetime history, stuff that is in your way, blocking your feng shui. That takes work, and it's worth it because what you get from the work is valuable. This little project is just something left over from last year, and it takes time to rehabilitate it. I said thing a while ago, and what I really meant was a piece of matter. You are a piece of matter, but you are a piece of spirited matter. And I think that's what we are. I am stuff, but I'm also more than that, an inspirited being. So the work here is to clean out the old trash. I guess you can't see that as well as I can, but it looks pretty. A couple of rocks from the Gros Ventre River, by the way, imported from what's called Jackson Hole, Gros Ventre River Ranch. So we clean away the stuff that's built over the last year. We have to take some time. Maybe you've developed some bad habits through the winter, and it's time to move out of those, to get back to exercising or get back to journaling, or reach out and talk to some friends because you were just isolated over the winter for whatever reason. But to inhabit our life means we do the work to clean the well, clean the spring, a healthy spring, and you are a healthy spring. There's a life-giving spring. You just have to do the work to keep it clean. And it's a very pleasant thing to enjoy yourself and to share with others.